Welcome to Tea Talk, where the topics are real, relevant, and relaxing. It's Tea Talk time, and here's Lady O.
Thank you, Tracy. I am so happy to see each and every one of you all today. And listen, I have brought something with me that is going to introduce our show. I have bought my tiara because we're going to be talking about princesses today. And in particularly, we're going to be talking about Ariel, the Little Mermaid, which we went to see. Took my granddaughters to go see her this past week, and it was phenomenal. So I thought, is this a topic we can discuss for Tea Talk after seeing it? And when you go to see it, you'll realize too why I'm saying this. But we're going to talk about it. We're going to promote it. We're going to push it. Everybody needs to go see it and take your grandchildren. I remember when it first came out years ago, I did not take my daughter to see it. Those things were kind of on video and those kind of things. We weren't really going to the movies. I don't think that much to see things like that. I don't remember. All I know is it was not a big thing in my family back then. So I want to talk about this today. So go ahead and ask all of your family and friends, and especially those teenage girls, those little girls, to get on, because we're going to talk about the movie and show the relevance of how it relates to our everyday life today. And you definitely want to do this, because when you go to movies, you need to, I don't know about you, but I always like to talk about them afterwards, because I want to make sure my kids get the right understanding, and I just like to bounce things off of each other people. So we talked about it, and I thought, yes, definitely, this would be a great one for Tea Talk. So if you can think of all of the different things that are going on in the world today with us, the different issues and problems and situations that we're facing in 2023, you will understand why this particular, the Little Mermaid, is so important and so relevant for such a time as this. So I'm gonna go ahead and say hello to all of Tea Talk ladies here and let them ask them a question. Did you see the original Little Mermaid? If you did, why? What were your impressions of it? If you didn't, why not?
And I saw the original.
Oh, did you? So what did you think
I saw the original. It was, a typical Disney movie. It was a story about, the regular story about the Little Mermaid. The father didn't want the young lady around the humans, the people with legs, and she had to fight different things like, wanting to be away from her sisters, wanting to be out on land, and seeing the gentlemen on the boats and wanting to be around them, but she couldn't because she was a mermaid, of course, and she really, really wanted to find a way to be near them. She wanted to figure it out, and she knew about that sea, the sea witch, and she knew she could make it happen, but she knew it was some repercussions behind it.
Right. And that's one of the songs that is like the theme song for it. I want to be a part of your world. So she's saying that, and we'll talk about that in a minute when we talk about what she had to go through to get her audition. Anybody else, did you see the original one or the one here that's just came out? Have you seen it?
I saw the original one because the movie came out right around the time that my daughters were 3 and 4. And they loved it. They loved The Little Mermaid. They also love Beauty and the Beast, anything princess related.
Yeah,
they loved it.
Exactly.
Yes. And I love them too, because I'm feminine. I love princess tiaras, long gowns, high heels. Yeah.
I'm a princess, but you know what? I didn't ever think I was that kind of princess.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I was my mom's princess or somebody, but I wasn't like the kind of princess that I saw.
Right.
Anybody else see the original, or are you going to see the new one coming up?
I didn't see the I love Disney movies. They always have a great message. I did not see the original. I was trying to think back at that age. I was 89. You said it came out about 89.
Yeah,
I was probably thinking I was too grown at that time to see it. I was right about
know.
18, I think, when in 89.
Yeah.
And then I didn't get a chance to see the new one yet. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back and look at that first one and then go see the new one.
Right. And you don't have girls. So that's another thing too, that
Right.
typically we see that as a princess, we're going to take the little girls. But I took my grandson too, and he's just turned 3, and it just really captivated him.
Yeah.
All the music and the singing and the action. I thought, well, someone told me, said, well, he's too young. He's probably not going to sit through it. Well, he did, and he really, he enjoyed it. So, Sister Deborah, have you seen it yet? Are you going to go see it?
No, I haven't seen it, but my granddaughter and her mom went to see it, and she's been walking around here in her mermaid, the little, the dressed up in
The
the
little dress,
what do
yeah.
you call it? It's not the dress, it's
The mermaid bottle.
bottom, yes, the bottom.
Yes.
So she's been
Mhm.
hopping around in that. Yeah.
Well,
That's
I
good.
tried to find it. I couldn't find it because for my granddaughter's birthday, I went to buy it for her, but
Mhm.
everything was sold out. So I did buy her a dress that had all of the different colors in it that is in that she wears, the shimmery things for her. What do you call them? Fins.
Fins, yeah.
Yeah. So it is beautiful. So hopefully she'll wear it church Sunday, or one of Sundays are all white. But anyway, it was great. But listen, I am a grown-up, but I would go see it again. And
Mhm.
let me tell you why, because when I sat there and I looked at that young lady on the screen, I know how far we've come. And back when it first came out, there was a lot of talk about it in the news. All the news people were talking about it. Hey, did you hear the Little Mermaid is black? And I'm like, wow. So some people didn't like that.
Right.
And some people were not going to take their kids to go see a black mermaid, but they would take them to see a white mermaid with red hair, which we all did. But for some reason, it was not a good thing. But anyway, I'm pleased to hear the news. Tracy was giving us some figures early about how much this costs us. I watched an interview of the writer, which he is just phenomenal, Rob Marshall. And he is a writer, he's a director, he's a choreographer. He does it all. And he just to hear him talk, God makes very few people in certain categories. He's one of the very few. He wrote some other things, movies that we would all know, like Annie in Chicago, Into the Woods, and other things, and got several awards for them. But Tracy, can you share with us again how much money it costs to make this movie?
Yes, and that was one of the first things I wanted to look at because it featured an African American. She's the star of the show.
Yeah.
I wanted to see, is this movie being supported? And obviously people like it because the budget was $250 million, and the this box office right now is sitting at $477 million.
Right. So that's what was exciting to me too, Tracy, because when I went in the movie, we're out here in the white area, and I was like, it's going to be a whole bunch of, little black girls in there, but it was full of little white girls. And I was so proud of my white community, my white friends, because it's a lesson that you're teaching your kids to say, it doesn't matter what color she is, she's a little mermaid. And I'm going to take my kids to see it and support it. And so it's evidenced by that money that it's being supported. And this is what I really thought was so great about the whole movie, was the whole theme of it was about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And that's what we're dealing with in our world today: diversity, equity, inclusion.
Yes.
And people are not wanting to vote, and they want to tear down the school district for that. That's one of the things that they came against, Bishop on being on the school board, because he was for diversity, equity, inclusion. And pretty much what Mr. Rob said, that he said the whole theme of this movie is we're all important, and we're all needed, and we're all, one. We're all
Yes.
Mhm.
wow, and he's a white man, and he's writing this this production, this movie, and that's his theme that he had in mind.
Yes.
The reason why I want to go back and watch the first one, because I want to see, was that the theme that came forth in that one? Because it was definitely the theme in this one. Tisha, do you
No.
remember any particular theme?
Not as much.
No. Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
No.
No, I
It
wouldn't
was
say
a
that it was
basic,
either,
it was a
Tisha.
basic movie with a plot, I mean, a story, you know,
Walt Disney.
yeah, it was a
Magical.
basic, yes. I'm not saying it was a bad movie. It was a great movie. And it, you know, it may have taught us, you know, a little, I want to say a small lesson about,
Mhm.
you know, doing anything to do anything. You know, you're
Right.
not, you shouldn't do anything like that. She gave up her, the girl gave up her voice to be with somebody who couldn't understand her. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then she got, and then somebody came and scooped them up anyways. So,
Yeah. I think
but
you've seen the
no,
movie. You say you haven't
But
seen it. You said your
she
daughter
stood up.
saw it, right? And she's been talking to you and giving you some pointers on that.
yes, I plan to take her to the movie, but on Father's Day, she saw it with her dad.
Oh, she
Yeah.
So
saw with her dad. Well, that was
she went to
good.
see it with her dad. Yeah.
That
So
was good.
So she came
mhm.
back all excited, telling you everything that she saw.
Yeah, she really liked it. And that the first thing she did say was, even though she saw the previews and everything, she still highlighted the fact that the Little Mermaid was brown like her.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, yes,
And she
yes.
had dreads.
And she had
Mhm.
dreads, right?
Right. So they're locks. So
Yeah.
therefore, it was not the, curly
Silky,
hair,
silky hair. Yeah.
It was
Mhm.
evident that she was Black. And I thought
Now,
that was,
one thing I wanted to say about the diversity was at the end when all of the mermaids came out of the water
yes,
and they were all different
of different
hues,
nations.
the hair colors,
Yeah.
the ethnicities. That made me cry.
Well, now that,
Yes.
okay, we're getting to the end of it, but that, you're absolutely right. That was very impactful to me. And
Mhm.
check this out. My granddaughter said, we were asking what was her favorite part, and she said, well, my favorite part was at the end when all the mermaids came out. She said, I think they were from the 7 seas. They were representing the
Mm.
whole country. She said,
Oh,
because they were all different nationalities. None of them
Nationalities,
were the same.
ethnicity.
And
Yeah.
ethnicities, they were all different. And
Hmm.
those were her sisters. The
Those
dad
were her
didn't say
sisters,
these are
right?
your stepsisters or your, friends. These are your sisters, and you all had
wow.
the same mother. So, that one made me cry too. But
Right.
I mean, just at the end, just made me
Yeah.
cry. We're kind of jumping to the end, but let's go back to the beginning. Cause don't let me forget to go, because I want y'all to cry too at the end.
Okay.
Well, basically, there was no real deep meaning into the first one.
Yeah, it was just,
Yeah.
it was entertainment, I think.
Yes.
I think though that I think the part about her standing up for herself
Yeah.
Yeah.
and doing what her dad did not want her to do, I
Yeah.
think that's a message for young girls,
Right.
Yeah.
to believe in your ideals and to pursue them,
Right.
because she was definitely doing something different than what her father wanted.
That's a good
So
point. That's a good point, Shelley. Because
Yeah.
I think that particular one was probably more relevant to feminism and when the women's rights movements and
mhm,
things like that, because the gender equity was definitely a big issue back in that day and still is.
yeah,
We just celebrated 1 year of taking back Roe versus Wade, and women having to fight for their rights of their own bodies. They have no voice, and so they can't choose doctors. Nobody can help them. It's a criminal law. So that's a feminist issue,
yeah,
that women don't have voices about their own bodies.
own body, yeah.
I can agree with the voice with the women having voices and standing up for themselves as well, because in the first movie, her father, which is the king of the ocean, you could tell by his character, he led in fear. He was afraid. He was
Yeah.
Mhm,
afraid what would happen if she went against his wishes.
right.
And he was very, very adamant that you don't go against my will. Everybody was afraid of him. And in that kind of the way the fathers were back in the day, you know, they didn't.
Yes, they led by fear.
Yeah, they led by fear, and the girls did not have a voice about what they were to do or what they wanted. So I think you're right, Shelley. That was a message back then, and it was relevant, and looks like the author was writing for that point back then. But for now, for today, I think the biggest change that we probably are going to see is the races.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, well, those that haven't seen it will get it. Ariel was black, okay? The prince was white.
Yeah.
His mother was dark black.
Yeah, she was black. Yeah.
I mean, like real black. She wasn't like Ariel.
Mm-hmm.
And his father was like a Spanish or something.
Yeah, I don't know what he
And
was.
even Ariel's father was like a Greek.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So everybody had a different race,
Yeah.
even when they were in the same family.
Yes.
And they never talked about it or acted like it was everybody was just people. We're all one. And I commend that writer for doing it that way, because he gave a message to the children. We talk about these subliminal messages, but without saying diversity, equity, and inclusion. That whole movie, to me, that's what it was really about.
That's what it really was about. Yeah. Yes, it was.
So when I looked at the some of the reviews too, I thought it was really interesting how she got to be so because I had never heard of her, you know, and I went back to see, who is this young lady? Do you know that she became famous on Facebook? You know how you get followers? Okay. And so she got these followers, and this is how she and her sister were great singers.
She and her sister. Yeah.
She and her sister. So they started singing, but where they made their big breakthrough is they sang Beyonce's song. And it went, wow. She said, I looked up, we had 100 people. She said, 100 people are looking at us. And she said the next couple of days, she had thousands, you know, and it just kept going up. And so Beyonce saw it and asked them to be a part of some movie or something like that. And then everything just went viral for them. And even President Obama's wife, Michelle Obama, asked them to come and sing for her. She calls them her girls. So Oprah got involved in. So they've been on all the shows. And she said it just like it happened overnight. We were normal girls, and all of a sudden we did that Beyonce song on YouTube. That's what I think was YouTube. And it went viral. And she said one day, she said she interviewed for it. And she said she didn't think she got it. She didn't think she did very well because she said, well, she didn't know what. She said, I think I did well, but the way it was, when they asked me to interview, she said, they told me, why don't you just start wherever you want to sing first? You want to dance? What do you want to do first? And she said, my comfort zone was singing. She said, I closed my eyes and I sang, you know, that the theme song, Into Your World. And she said, I kept my eyes closed. I put all of it into it. She said, when I opened my eyes, everybody was crying.
Yes, I saw that interview.
Wow.
Yeah. And she said, she thought, oh my goodness, did I blow it? She said, everybody was just amazed. And so the author, the writer said they interviewed, and the director, they interviewed so many people after her, but she has set the bar so high that nobody met.
Nobody.
So here's what was really, you know, unique what she said with her interview. She said, when she got the part, they said, well, how did you find out you got the part? And she said, I was, you know, in our garage. And she said, we were just hanging out. And she said, the writer called me on phone and said, may I speak with Ariel? And she kind of paused. Is this Ariel? And she said, are you kidding? I got the part. So that's how she learned. He said she was Ariel. Nobody else could match her. So it wasn't about her race. Okay.
I was wondering that. I was wondering if they were looking for a brown girl to play the star role, like if it was specific, or she just got the part because she was amazing.
They said they interviewed, I thought they said hundreds of girls.
Wow.
Said that first one had set the bar so high, the next one just didn't have it.
Mm,
And
isn't that something?
yeah, she was Ariel. So I thought that was really important to know because a lot of people say, oh, they want to have give a black a chance. So here they just gave that to her.
Right.
Gave it to
Yeah.
her.
No, she
But that wasn't it.
she earned it, and they said she was Ariel. And when you listen to her on her interviews, she's so that part in everything she says when she's
Mhm.
interviewed.
Right.
She has that voice,
Yes.
has that mannerism, that warm. She was Ariel.
Yeah.
And her sister, is still, doing things, but she took off into this role. And she said her and her sister were so close. I hope and pray that it doesn't cause any friction. But she said her sister was so happy for her. And they've
Yes.
never been separated, that when they went, I think she said they filmed in Europe. She said her sister came up and spent, I think, a year with her, or
Oh.
I forgot how
Part of
long
the
it was.
time with her.
Some of the months, whatever it was, that she spent time with her because she was going off without her parents and whatever, and they'd always been together, and so it was no hating there. It was support and love.
Yeah.
So that was really important. That the diversity in the people and the cultures. They even had a Jamaican through the crab. Do y'all?
Yes. The little
Yeah.
crab.
He was
Sebastian.
Jamaican in the first one. Mhm.
Jamaican, and he said he worked so hard on this one. He said they had so many different things for him to do that even though they were like, she was really interacting with the puppets, and they were in a machine, a room doing the voiceover.
Mm.
Yeah, so you got a chance to see the other one. What's the one with the? She was really funny too. The bird, the pelican. Is it a
The
pelican?
bird. Yeah. I don't know what nationality was the bird. I don't remember.
So the bird was a female in the new one.
She was a female.
Wow.
And
In the
she-
original it was a male.
It was a
Oh,
male.
really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
She has this unique voice that, if you don't know what she is, you have to kind of listen. But I can see she was a female, but it's a very unique voice.
Mm.
But yeah, so they interviewed her too, and they were voiceovers. And they had the puppets. But the one that I really, really liked, and I didn't write her name down, but she's the one that played the wicked witch.
Play
Oh,
Ursula.
Ursula. Ursula was good, honey.
Yeah. She was phenomenal. She played that part. Yeah.
She played that part. I can't think of anybody else that could play that. Even her voice, the way it sounds,
Mm-hmm.
and the way she played that was so good. All of them were good. They said it took them forever to get the right cast, but even the
Characters. Yeah.
but yeah, they had to cast the dad and see Ursula and the king. They were sisters and brothers, but they didn't look alike.
Mm-mm. They didn't.
They didn't look alike, but they were
Wait,
both,
what?
they were sister and brother, because from what I
Wow.
understand, because she was competing because she wanted that role. So it's so many things in here that you could just look at. The fact that here's a male, he has a role and she's not happy with it. She's trying to get equity with her and and take over, but her motives in the way she did things, she destroyed.
Mhm. Yeah, she destroyed.
Yeah.
It's Melissa McCarthy. Yeah, she's a good.
Melissa.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I love her.
she's very versatile actress. But
Yeah.
she played that part. It's very
Yes, she
believable.
did.
Yeah.
Very believable. And I really enjoyed the singing, the songs.
Oh yeah. That was so touching.
They were touching, and they still all represented different cultures.
Mm-hmm.
Kiss the Girl, that was a kind of a Jamaican
Oh
kind of
yeah, yeah.
song.
Kiss the girl. Yeah. Yeah, that was good.
The kids could really get into that.
Mm-hmm.
We were doing the Jamaican stuff in the audience,
Oh yeah.
So I don't
My favorite one was when she was sitting on the rock.
know.
I think it was toward the beginning, and
Yeah.
it wasn't Part of Your World. It was the other one, but it was, baby, when she sung that song, I felt it.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
That was called Under the Sea, wasn't it? I think it was called Under the
I
Sea.
think so. Yeah. Yeah.
That
It was great.
powerful. Is
It
that
was
the
great.
where, and they talked about this too in her interviews, where she comes out of the water straight up and does a flipping back of her dreads?
Mm-hmm.
Was it
Mm-hmm.
that? Anyway, that was a part of her going up, from the deeps. And when she got to the end to breathe and to see
Mhm.
where she flipped her hair back, uh,
Mm.
and she said, somebody asked her, did you about break your neck trying to do all of those? Because I know it, she said she had to do it about 20 times.
To get it right.
Wow.
Yeah,
Get it
I
right.
can imagine.
And she said, yeah, she said, because you and I both know that dreads are heavy.
Heavy
Just
and wet.
and when they're wet, she said
Yeah.
to come up and whip all those wet dreads back. She
Mm-hmm.
said, my neck was really in bad shape.
Wow.
But
Mm.
yeah, so she talked about all of those things and the sacrifices that they have to make of her being wet so many times. And she said, and she doesn't like to be cold. And she was
Mhm.
always cold. They were giving her heating pads to put on her.
Mm.
It's so much that goes into making a movie.
Making a movie. Yeah, it is a lot.
Mhm.
You wouldn't even think about all those details. I
Yeah.
remember hearing her say that she was so happy that they allowed her to keep her dreads.
Yes.
And how important she told them that was important to her.
And
And
that's a question too that I didn't know. I was wondering if they put the dreads on her to make her wear them. You know what I mean? Sometimes they put costumes on you, but she had
Right.
dreads before, right?
no, she had them before, but they colored them. They colored them red.
Okay.
Or I read an article that talked about how they got her dreads to be that color, to be red. I don't remember exactly what they did. I think they twisted that color over her natural hair.
Yeah. Because they were
Yeah.
almost like a gold. And I know the original one had the orange hair.
Mm-hmm.
Gold would be a unique color too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But they were so pretty. Those.
Yeah, they were beautiful. They were
Mhm.
beautiful.
On one interview, I saw her hair. She said she went back to the red. I think it was on Tamron Hall, and she had red braids. She said that's her color.
Oh, that's her coat.
That's her favorite color is the red.
Mm.
Mhm.
Well, they did. And I saw, you're right. I saw in another interview where she had the red color. So that's what she.
She said that's her color.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I wonder if
had
she's
a
gonna
question.
keep it red.
Well, that's
now.
what she was saying. She was happy to
That's
go
it.
back to her red color
Oh,
because that's
okay.
her color. Yeah.
Okay.
I had a question. The first movie, was it animated and this one isn't?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was animated.
It was animated.
Mm-hmm.
It was animated, but this one was different because her skin color did not look like Ariel's. Ariel almost looked like she had a mask on. The original one, it was really, to me, this one, she looked like flesh. It looked like flesh, and the other one looked like maybe, I don't know.
It was
Did
a
you?
cartoon. Yeah,
Huh?
Yeah, it was a cartoon.
it was a cartoon.
Yeah, but it was not the same kind of texture or color of the face like the original one was. And I guess they improved things over the year. Now, let me ask you this: the first one, because I haven't seen the first one, did they use cartoons or was there an actual person?
No, it was a
They were
cartoon.
cartoon.
It was the
Okay.
whole thing was a cartoon.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's the difference.
Yeah, it was animated.
But they did a combination kind of there because even though she was real, everything pretty much was kind of had some animation to it. But they just did the cinematography, all that. They did a great job because I love the one how they even took to the castle and it was up in the hill and how they did all of that. And
Mm-hmm.
down into the different the party that was going on, how they, oh, you know what? Remember when she was driving the horse, the carriage?
Oh, yes. Yes. She was
There's a-
driving so fast.
Scene in there where she gets a chance to really be free, and so does he. Because we don't
Mm-hmm.
talk about him very
Mhm.
much, but he had pretty much a similar kind of situation because he was protected in the from with the king and the queen. He lived in this big, huge castle and had maids and so forth. So for him to get out, they didn't want him to get out.
Right. Right.
They wanted to keep him sheltered.
Mm-hmm.
And he too wanted to break free, just like she did.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And their way they came together was not just you know, him going into the ocean. He was on a ship, and really she saved his life
Yeah.
because the ship
Mhm.
up, and so that's how she was able to come from the sea and save him.
Right.
But so that kind of particular situation caused them to be able to cross the line, because what the whole thing is about fear. You know, we're here and they're there. So you don't associate with them and they're not associated with us.
Mhm.
There's a line, and do not cross the line, which is what he was told, that those people in the sea are ferocious and they're not good people. And the daddy underneath the water was saying, don't go, those humans, you know. So don't we see that a lot in today with racism and,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
Judge people before you know them.
before you
Yeah.
know,
Mm-hmm.
And it's still sourced by fear.
it's
Yeah.
I fear. Yeah.
And making assumptions, you know,
And
making
Oh, yeah.
assumptions about
and
people.
just habits of that's how we've always done it.
Right. So we'll just keep doing
Keep doing
that.
it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Stay away from them.
Exactly. Don't go over there.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when what was it? It was a play, movie that was out, and the lady at the park, I think it was the one where I don't want to say for sure, but anyway, the mother said, "Oh, we don't play with that kind, you know, you stay over here and play with your kind."
Mm-hmm.
But
Maybe that's why it's so important that when you did see, when you were able to see the families and knew that they were family and they looked different, that it was normalized in the movie, that it wasn't brought attention to, but it still let you know, hey, this is a family and look how different everyone looks.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think you're absolutely right, Tisha. That was the whole theme of the whole thing, for you get to not to see families that everybody's white, everybody's black, everybody's no, we're all one big family. And that's
Mhm.
the whole theme of the whole thing was, because I know some kids are gonna say, why does he have a black mother? And
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't look mixed, why are all the mermaids, like my granddaughters, all the mermaids were different, and they're all got the same father and mother, but they're all from different nationalities and cultures. And it was okay because they were all
Mhm.
yeah.
Right. Right.
Wow.
I'm sure that opened up a lot of conversations on that ride home from that movie.
From the movie, yes.
Which is a good thing, because it gives the children an opportunity to get perspective from the parents as well.
I guess I was just wondering, as we are celebrating mainstream media, understanding the need that we need to see people that look like us.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to have, people need to embrace that, because this world is not just one race or one color.
Not at
I'm just
all.
wondering, just moving forward, what impact this is going to have with not just Disney, but moving forward, making those main characters people of color.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at and this is a totally different show, but the other day everybody was talking about Queen Charlotte.
Oh, yes.
So
Yeah.
I'm like, it's so nice to look at that and say, wow, somebody like that looks like me.
Yes.
Mhm.
So I could just see this really taking off, and really, really, people are starting to understand mainstream media is that we need diversity. We need to see that. Not just say it, we need to see it.
But isn't it so sad that that's what the whole world seems like they're fighting behind right now? They
Yeah.
don't want diversity. They don't want inclusion. They don't want equity. And how does that make you feel as a Black person, a little brown girl, that people don't want to be brown? They don't want the kids playing with you, and they don't want you to have equity with their little white kids or whatever. And to me, when you go against diversity, equity, inclusion, that's what you're doing. You're saying, I don't want to be a part of them because I'm better. I don't want to have equity. I don't, with me and my kids and my race, I don't want them to be included in me and my race and my world. And that's that song, Part of Your World. I think a lot of us are all wanting to be a part of a world sometimes that says no. Or when my mom was coming up, she said they used to always say, if you're Black, get back.
Mm,
Wow, my
If you're
God.
brown, stick around.
mm,
If you're white, you're just right.
mhm.
That's something, I don't know if it was a song or whatever, but that's what, when I grew
That's
up,
some people used to say.
yeah, that people say. And it's still
That's
the
those
same thing
things that
now.
bring about privilege. That's where the privilege comes from. And it's so deep
Mhm.
that seeing that change when they're normally on television, seeing other races having those lead parts. That's why they just had such a big uproar, because The Little Mermaid, the first one, it's still popular. People
Mhm.
are catching up. People are growing up. Disney has this app where they have all their movies. And so you can click a button and watch that movie, and people are still watching the movie. They're still buying the merchandise. So when they announced that she was brown, it was an uproar.
It
People were
was.
upset. Some people were upset,
Some
not
people were
everybody,
upset.
but some
Mhm.
people were very, very upset.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But the money shows us that this world is changing, that it is becoming more diverse, it is becoming more equitable, and there are many great white people and other races that don't agree with this being racism and excluding people because of the color of their skin. So I'm really proud of that. Another thing that this story had was about love. I mean, everybody in there, was showing love, but this young boy and this young girl decided to cross the barriers and to break the rules, because they had rules in their homes, because of love. They didn't look at each other's skin color or what their parents or whatever wanted. That fear was taken away with love.
Mhm.
So that was the love story for me. Now, I don't know how close. We're gonna go ahead and say this part before we get too close to the close. So the daddy was furious, and the crab, they were all afraid of what was going to happen when the king realized they were supposed to be protecting her and keeping her from these humans and keeping her sheltered. But in the end, when she told her daddy, that she wanted to go, and she was deciding to go with this man, when he came up, now this part that made me cry. He came up and he gave her his wishes.
Mhm.
Remember, she was sailing off in the boat with the prince,
Yes.
and the prince's family was giving them their blessings, but her heart was heavy because she looked out over this big ocean and she realized, I have a family down there under the sea that
Yes.
I'm abandoning. And I love this new
Mhm.
family. I long to be with my family too and have them be a part. Then all of a sudden the father comes up out of the ocean and he gives her his blessings. And I forgot the exact words he said, but that made me cry. That made me cry.
Yeah.
Because we
I'm
have
so excited to see it. Now I'm really excited. I was already excited, but
so
Yeah, that was a special part of the movie. And right after that was when all of her sisters
yes, come on, that's from the part
emerged. Yeah, with I just love that part.
I
I
know.
just love it.
So
Yes.
not only did the father went first,
Mm-hmm.
it says something else too, that older people, grandparents and things like that, we got to come up first, okay, and lead the way. Then
Mm-hmm.
after they did, all of her sisters emerged out of the sea to show support, and then all the other animals and things like, they just kind of kept coming all up to wish her well.
Well, yes.
Yeah, that got me. And then the song that they sang at the very end, I did have tears at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So here's one of the other tear jerkers that I had that really, really made me sad. When he said, I think he said, I can't remember, help me if I got it wrong. Someone said, it's very sad that she had to give up her voice to be heard.
Mm.
oh wow, that's deep.
And that's what we as women have had to do for years. We give up
For
our
years.
voice. And so we're silent. But she had to go and cross over to break her daddy's heart and the rules, almost lost her own life
Mhm.
to be heard. And so it was like, can you hear me now? I love this man. I don't want to be separated. I don't think that we're better or they're better. So I believe that a lot of young people and white people, their parents, that you're not going to hold me back. I'm going to go with or without you.
Mhm.
I would love to have your blessings. I don't have your blessings. I have to follow my heart. I have to have a voice, and I'm not going to stay here and not and be unhappy, because that's what the dad really wanted her to be, is just be with his rules, be with his way, his people, and stay here, even though she was not happy.
Mhm.
So she broke away to find happiness and love. And that's what a lot of kids are going to do in the different races. So we better get ready for it, because these kids these days, most of them, some of them still have the hatred that their parents have taught them. But for the most part, these kids love people. They don't really have that hatred and think in that way about themselves. It's the parents.
I agree.
Whew. So that part made me cry. And so we as people, Black people, brown people, we should have to lose our voice and go into a big fight or Black Lives Matter and demonstrate and those kind of things that we're having to do. We shouldn't have to go to the governor's mansions and and just petition to please, can I be a part of your world? And if you don't let me be a part of your world, I'm going to do something that is going to break the law or break what the status quo is, because I have to be heard. So
Yeah.
that was powerful. So if you haven't seen it, you need to go see it. And when you go see it, you need to talk about it with your family and your friends. And it just doesn't need to be just girls going to see it. The boys need to see it as well. It said to me, everybody has a part to play to make this thing happen. The father had to learn a huge lesson of letting go of his daughter. She's not his property.
Mhm.
He had to let go of the way he thought, the way because he was going to lose her. He was losing her anyway, because she was going. And so he had to come back. And I think at the end, he ended up gaining, as they say, not only a daughter, but he gained a son.
That's great.
So anybody else, questions or comments on there?
No,
I
I'm just
went
excited now. I just
Yeah.
want to go see it.
Okay.
I went with the day that it was coming out. I asked my daughter's friend if she was taking her daughter, because her daughter is 3. I think the baby is 3. And I said, "Oh, I want to go. Can I go with y'all?" I wanted to see it from a child's eye, you know.
Yes.
And she just, through the whole movie, she was just like captivated.
Yeah, it does.
It
It captivates you, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was a great experience.
Yeah.
And she loved it. We came out when we came out of the movie, I want to show her a picture.
Uh-huh.
When we came out of the movie, it wasn't a big display of the Little Mermaid, but it was a small display, and she just looked at it. Do you guys remember that picture of the little girl looking at Mrs. Obama's picture when
Yeah.
it first was released? It
Yeah.
was the same kind of feeling. She looked up and she just stared at the picture of the Little Mermaid. It was so cool.
You know,
I'm gonna see if I can find it.
I was kind of not concerned, but I didn't see a lot of props out promoting it. And I was like wanting to do the same thing, take a picture of my girls, and us at the movie, but I didn't see it.
You didn't see it. Yeah, it was, we only saw one.
Mm-hmm.
display.
Yes, and I must say her name too because Haley Bailey.
Yes, Haley Bailey.
And when I first heard it, I said that's close to Halle Berry. Haley Bailey. I want to say her name because this is a huge for her. The sky is a limit to what's going to happen in her life and financially and even being famous. They did ask her what is she going to be doing next, and she's going to be in The Color Purple.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes. Yeah, I heard that too.
yeah,
Yes.
she's gonna be in The Color Purple, and I'm sure with the way she sings and dances, she's going to definitely be in some big Broadway production. I think The Color Purple is going to be in a movie this time.
Yes.
But I'm telling you, I can see it right now. If I had the money and the wherewithal, she would be on Broadway doing The Color Purple, and some other things. But she is so good. So Halle Bailey, okay? And I think that we all need to be, really supporting this movie in every way we can. Talking about it, taking our friends, taking our family. One lady that I saw the interview, she said, I'm renting out the whole movie for little Black girls to come and see it.
Oh.
So that might be something we can do is if a parent cannot afford to take their child, maybe we have a little outing where we take the little Black girls, maybe buy them or something.
Yeah, the children's.
Yeah. So we're gonna look at that. But I was just really excited to be just a part of it and have an opportunity. I stay so busy, but I said my grandkids were over. I said, we're gonna go see the Black Princess. So my little one, Jordy, who, is a baby, he kept saying, when we gonna see the Black Princess? When we gonna see the He did not forget that I saw Black Princess. I don't even know if he knows fully what Black Princess is.
Yeah.
But I know that we have come up, that all princesses were white. And there was no way that we could be a princess unless we had a part. And our mamas bought us a little tiara or something like that.
Right.
So,
yes.
So I want to commend all of the races for coming together and supporting this movie and promoting it. And I want to challenge everybody that when you do this, start speaking up for diversity, equity, and inclusion. Do not let people keep that out of your schools. We got to fight. We got a school board election that's coming up this year, and we have got to take back over, what it is we want to see. I mean, we're saying, the movie theater is saying diversity, equity, inclusion, but the schools are saying no. We're not having that, and anybody who doesn't will be in trouble with the school district. So we as speak up churches and our communities and make it a point of taking some little Black girl out to these movies to let her know she is very beautiful. And here's somebody that says, hey, be in Walt Disney pictures as the main star.
Yes, and we are beautiful too.
And we are beautiful inside and out. Well, listen, It was a great movie. I encourage you to go see it, and not only see it, take other people to see it and talk about it and promote it to everybody you see. Because I'm telling you, this is history in the making, and it's for such a time as this. I don't believe it happened just because it happened. All of these things have been happening because God is not happy with the way people are trying to take us back. And if we don't fight, we're going to lose all the things that we have gained over the years. And we definitely cannot do that. So anybody else have a question or comment before we go? It's about that time. Good. Well, listen, I'm happy to be with you all today and get your tiara. And I'm going to go watch it again. I just love this. So
yeah, I think I'm going to go see it again too, Lady O.
We'll be going. Maybe we can go together. Maybe
yeah, that would be good.
Put it in the chat. If you'd like to go with us, let us know. We can all go together.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Okay?
That would be fun. Yeah,
we'll do that. Okay, let us know, and we'll contact you and get that taken care of. Okay. Remember, The Little Black Mermaid. We'll see you at the movies, and we'll see you next week at 3 for tea with Lady O. Bye-bye for now.